Remember being 8 years old, standing outside that toy store window, pressing your face against the cold glass? That specific ache for the doll with the porcelain face, the train set with working signals. You could almost feel the weight of it in your hands, the joy of ownership already vivid in your imagination. Now fast forward 20 years. You're standing in your apartment, looking at your life, the career, the relationships, the accomplishments, and there's that same ache. But now it's for something you can't name. A homesickness for a home that doesn't exist. A longing for a version of your life that feels just out of reach. This emptiness that colors your quiet moments, this persistent sense of almost but not quite. We've been taught this is a problem to be solved, a flaw in our happiness algorithm. But what if we've been reading the equation backwards? What if this longing isn't evidence of what's missing from your life, but proof of what's already present in the quantum field of your possibility? What if it's not a bug in your system, but the most elegant feature of your soul's operating software? Consider Sarah, a graphic designer in her mid-30s, successful by every external metric, yet every Sunday evening brings that familiar hollow feeling. She calls it her Sunday scaries, but it's deeper than anxiety about Monday. It's this persistent sense that somewhere, in some parallel life, she's living more authentically. Or Mark, a retired teacher who finds himself wandering through antique stores, not looking for anything specific, but feeling drawn to objects that seem to hold memories that aren't his. He describes it as nostalgia for times I never lived. These aren't random emotional glitches, they're data points in a much larger equation. Throughout human history, we've struggled with this paradox. The ancient Greeks called it pathos, that yearning for something unattainable. The Buddhists identify it as the root of suffering, attachment and desire. Modern psychology pathologizes it as grass is greener syndrome. But what if we've been reading the equation backwards? Let me introduce you to Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a theoretical physicist turned consciousness researcher. Her work bridges quantum mechanics and human experience in ways that might sound like science fiction, but are grounded in emerging science. She says, we've been thinking about longing as emotional absence, but quantum physics suggests it's more like quantum entanglement. Your consciousness isn't just reacting to what isn't there, it's resonating with probability waves that already exist in your future timeline. Think of it this way. In quantum mechanics, every possible outcome exists simultaneously until observed. Your longing for that perfect relationship? That might be your consciousness detecting the probability wave of that relationship already existing in your future timeline. Your sense that you're meant for a different career? That could be quantum interference patterns from the version of you that's already living that life. Consider historical examples. Christopher Columbus didn't just decide to sail west. He was driven by a profound longing for lands he couldn't prove existed. Marie Curie didn't randomly discover radioactivity. She was pulled by an intense yearning to understand the invisible forces around us. The pattern is consistent. The greatest human advancements begin not with solutions, but with powerful, persistent longings. This brings us to what I call the longing equation. L equals square root of B times M times C times T, where L is the intensity of longing, B is beauty resonance, how much it aligns with your soul's aesthetic, M is meaning potential, the depth of purpose it offers, C is connection probability, how it links you to others or life, and T is time resonance, its alignment with your personal timeline. When these variables align, the resulting longing isn't random, it's directional intelligence. So, how do we practically apply this algebra in our daily lives? How do we move from being victims of longing to skilled interpreters of our soul's navigation system? First, we need to learn the language of longing. Most of us misinterpret the signals. That ache for a bigger house might actually be longing for space to create. That desire for fame might be misread longing for authentic connection and impact. Let's break down a real case study. Meet David, a successful accountant who felt persistent longing to leave his job and become a woodworker. Conventional wisdom said this was midlife crisis. The algebra of longing suggested otherwise. When David applied the longing equation, beauty resonance, high. He found deep aesthetic satisfaction in wood grain, craftsmanship. Meaning potential, extreme, aligning with childhood passions and values. Connection probability, medium, solitary work, but connecting through creations. Time resonance, critical, age 45, feeling urgency. The solution wasn't immediate quitting, but gradual realignment. He started with weekend projects, then evening classes, building what I call longing momentum. Through studying hundreds of cases, we've identified several common longing patterns. The parallel self-longing, feeling that somewhere a different version of you exists. Action algorithm, identify the core qualities of that self and integrate them gradually. The ancestral longing, feeling connected to times or places you've never experienced. Action algorithm, research family history, connect with cultural roots, find modern expressions of those values. The future pull longing, being drawn towards a specific future that feels inevitable. Action algorithm, map the stepping stones, build evidence through small experiments. The key insight from all these cases, longing obeyed mathematical principles. It wasn't random emotional noise, but structured information about possible futures. Neuroscience is beginning to catch up with what the algebra of longing suggests. Dr. Marcus Thorne's lab at Stanford has been mapping the longing response in the brain. He says, what we're finding is astonishing. When subjects experience authentic soul-level longing, we see unique activation patterns that don't match any other emotional state. It's as if the brain is running simulation software of possible futures. The practical implication is your longing might literally be your brain's way of beta testing potential life paths before you commit to them. If the algebra of longing is correct, it fundamentally changes how we should approach education, career counseling, and even mental health. Our current systems are built around the premise that longing is problematic. We medicate it, therapize it, or shame it into silence. But what if we're treating our most sophisticated guidance system as a malfunction? Consider educational systems in Finland that incorporate dreaming time into curricula, or the Japanese concept of ikigai, which essentially provides a framework for solving your personal longing equation. The societal implications are profound. What if economic indicators included collective longing alignment alongside GDP? What if urban planning considered the longing equations of communities rather than just efficiency metrics? This brings us to perhaps the most exciting implication: collective longing mathematics. Just as individual longings follow mathematical patterns, so do cultural and societal longings. The Renaissance wasn't random, it was the convergence of millions of individual beauty longings reaching critical mass. The civil rights movement wasn't spontaneous, it was the mathematical culmination of dignity longings across generations. Your personal algebra of longing isn't just about you. It's your unique contribution to humanity's evolving equation. When you solve for your variables, you're not just helping yourself, you're adding valuable data to the collective consciousness. So, where does this leave us? Back at the beginning, but with new eyes. That AQ feel isn't something to eliminate, but something to engage with curiosity and mathematical rigor. The algebra of longing gives us a framework, but you hold the variables. Your beauty resonance, your meaning potential, your connection probability, your time resonance. These are your unique coordinates in the vast equation of existence. This week, I want you to conduct a simple experiment. Take one persistent longing, nothing life-shattering, just something that's been quietly humming in the background. Apply the longing equation to it, not as wishful thinking, but as data analysis.
What's the beauty resonance? Where's the meaning potential? How does it connect you to something larger?
Why is it appearing now in your timeline? Then, take one small, concrete step in the direction your longing indicates. Not a leap, just a step. And observe what happens. Does the longing intensify with clarity? Does it transform? Does it lead to the next variable in your equation? Share your findings in the comments, not just the outcomes, but the process. Because your data point matters in the collective solving of this beautiful human equation. Remember, longing isn't the problem to be solved, it's the compass to be followed. And you're not broken for feeling it, you're awake. Awake to the multiple versions of yourself waiting to be lived. And so as we navigate our individual and collective equations, let's move forward with the courage to read our longings not as failures of contentment, but as successful detection of possible futures. Let's honor the mathematics of our souls.